to the 21st Century Black American Renaissance, Energizing and Reclaiming a People. I'm your facilitator, Mark Carvin-Oles, author, consultant, entrepreneur, lecturer, minister, and social theoretician. In addition, I will serve as your guide through each segment. The focus of this series will bring forth direct actions immediately available for implementation wherever a need for a resolution exists. As a black male undergoing the American experience with you, my aspiration, dreams, and hopes are invested in you and along with you. I am not an outsider observing the march to reality. Our goal is to provide solution-driven motivation as the impetus to the 21st century Black America Renaissance.
How do I write my life story? I know hurt and pain. I don't like either one, whether physical or emotional. Herein contains my story, Not Without Scars, Part 2. Optimism, perseverance, persistence, resilience. 2 decades of personal struggle. Optimism, I faced the new millennium with hopefulness. Perseverance, my ego, my humble beginnings, my desire to achieve never allow me to turn away from a difficult task. Persistence, opposition should be anticipated as an effective strategy to victory surfaces. Resilience, difficulties do not automatically spell termination. Scars reveal my imperfection as reminders of past episodes of pain, sorrow, or triumph. Scars can tell beautiful story endings or relay misery that wishes to remain anonymous. This work is meant to help others who have experienced decades of struggle. When struggles appear to never end, you must get through the night and face the challenge of a new dawn with fresh hope.
Episode 3, the focus, eliminating ills or creating opportunity. The focus on eliminating ills or creating opportunity is central to the validity of the cause. The improvement of the quality of life for the black community resounds justification. The root of the matter, eliminating ills or creating opportunity, rests upon the establishment of a self-sustaining community with the expertise to interact multiculturally while engaging in global commerce. By doing so, the black community will remove many of the deficits that have led to subcultural economic endeavors as a source of revenue generation. The foundation or cause for making relevant the 21st century Black American Renaissance, energizing a people and reclaiming a people, makes plain the need to generate investments in the lives of black people from their own people. In addition, the welcome mat must be extended to include all people who identify with the potential that resides in black people, academically, artistically, athletically, culturally, entrepreneurially, politically, socially, and theoretically. The closing points of episode 3 clarifies the focus and answers the question, eliminating the ills or creating opportunity. Number 1, the 21st century Black American Renaissance resonates with logic and indisputable rationality. Number 2, the energizing and reclaiming a people has collaborative intent. And 3, the 21st century Black American Renaissance, energizing and reclaiming a people, is not an organizational thrust or an individual reach for attention. Thank you.
The Great Lockdown of 2020, a mid-crisis analytical report, represents a historical work. The people provide indicators to their needs and roles in building and establishing the new norm. The voice of the people places at the fingertips of decision makers knowledge of how the area's resources should be deployed to best serve the society and address the needs and concerns of the people going forward. This study serves as a guide to where key research should be directed and sets the course to engage resources during crises by future social theoreticians. Comparison of responses on multiple levels provide an uncanny insight. The capture of a population's response in the midst of a crisis compared to a post-crisis reflection shall prove to be of monumental value into human reactions facing uncertainty during and post a calamity.
Welcome back. The motivation clearly rests with a vision to uplift the people with the potential to correct its shortcomings, one individual at a time. Collectively, the wherewithal exists within the Black community to build upon the historical achievements of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Rosewood in Florida, Sweet Auburn Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, and many other communities that arose to be self-sustaining by industrial-minded Blacks. The intelligence is present. The resources are accessible. All that is visibly absent is the vision broad enough to bring all the pieces into a single tent, gel all the factions into a unified effort. The purpose for the creation of the 21st century Black America Renaissance is to initiate something new with the possessors of the resources aligning their expertise into a financial entity to control the accumulation, disbursement, and accountability of the programmatic design. With such a design, the contributors of funds will be able to direct as much as possible the resources to the individuals in the community. The purpose of the 21st century Black America Renaissance is to actually get something done rather than create a new level of bureaucracy. 3 important takeaway keys. Number 1, the 21st century Black America Renaissance is driven by what is important, and that is the content of the vision. Number 2, the presentation, whether made by an individual or a team of individuals, should be less important, should never be more important than the vision and the mission. Number 3, the goal of the 21st century Black American Renaissance is to ascertain an ongoing relationship between the vision and potential partners that assure the uplifting of the Black community. After the break, we turn our attention to answering questions submitted by our viewers. And there are always probing questions that I will be asked to answer.
How do I write my life story? I know hurt and pain. I don't like either one, whether physical or emotional. Herein contains my story, Not Without Scars, Part 2. Optimism, perseverance, persistence, resilience. 2 decades of personal struggle. Optimism. I faced the new millennium with hopefulness. Perseverance. My ego, my humble beginnings, my desire to achieve never allow me to turn away from a difficult task. Persistence. Opposition should be anticipated as an effective strategy to victory surfaces. Resilience. Difficulties do not automatically spell termination. Scars reveal my imperfection as reminders of past episodes of pain, sorrow, or triumph. Scars can tell beautiful story endings or relay misery that wishes to remain anonymous. This work is meant to help others who have experienced decades of struggle. When struggles appear to never end, you must get through the night and face the challenge of a new dawn with fresh hope.
Welcome back to our question and answer segment. I have several questions that have been submitted by our viewers that I find to be very probing and very pertinent to the movement of the 21st century Black America Renaissance's cause. The first of these 3 questions, with so much unsettling energy filling the news cycle, and numerous movements clamoring for a place on the national spotlight, what do you consider central to the validity of the 21st century Black America Renaissance's cause? The cause of the 21st century Black American Renaissance is the uplifting of the people. It is not about grabbing headlines. It is not about one program is better than another program, or simply trying to find the best practice model that will work in various urban areas or the rural areas. The central cause for the 21st century Black American Renaissance is what can be done no matter where Black people are, no matter what they are facing, that a complete healing process will allow the central figures of the community, which are all individuals, to rise up to their fullest potential, whether that's by faith, whether that's by their direct action, whether that's by collective bargaining, where whatever the reasoning is, it has to be a unified effort. So the central cause of the 21st century Black American Renaissance is to bring the people back into alignment where they care for one another, love for one another, and work to sustain the total community. You stated previously, eliminating ills or creating opportunity rests upon the establishment of a self-sustaining community. Do you consider that to be the root of the matter as related to the Black community? A self-sustaining community possesses the resources and the wherewithal to eliminate the ills. A self-sustaining community will protect itself. A self-sustaining community always looks out for its future. A self-sustaining community has ideas that are invested in their youth, protection of their elders, and the respecting of sage wisdom. A self-sustaining community protects itself so that creating opportunity is evolutionary. It's going to evolve. There's no searching it out. When you are able to remove the ills that plague your community, then creating opportunity is an automatic process that evolves because of the very nature of self-preservation. Then is not just in retaining status quo. When you're eliminating the ills, all that is left is the opportunity to create more and more and more. And our final question for this section, a quote of yours resonated with me. I would like to read it. The intelligence is present, the resources are accessible, all the factions lead into a unified effort. How does this statement precisely relate to the 21st century Black America Renaissance? Intelligence is indeed present. Coming out of slavery, our ancestors built churches, and they also built schools, and eventually built colleges. The intelligence was there, and there were those persons in the community who recognized, even with their intellect, that the whole community possessed that same volume. And the volume is what is important, not one person rising above others, but the fact that one person's intellect could unlock the intellect of a community. The resources are accessible. Coming out of slavery, first century free men and first century free women built institutions that are still standing centuries later because they understood that they had the resources to take care of their own community. And all the factions that were in that community were brought into one effort to uplift the ex-slave, former slave, into a fortified people, into a strong people. And here we are today, looking at great potential being lost and wasted while we have the resources. So the answer to this question is, yes, the intelligence is present, and we have the resources abounding, and now we need to come together in that same unified spirit as our forefathers, our ancestors did coming out of slavery, understanding that it was not for one person to make it and the others to remain behind. So our unified effort is at the center of the 21st century Black America Renaissance.
The Great Lockdown of 2020, a mid-crisis analytical report, represents a historical work. The people provide indicators to their needs and roles in building and establishing the new norm. The voice of the people places at the fingertips of decision makers knowledge of how the area's resources should be deployed to best serve the society and address the needs and concerns of the people going forward. This study serves as a guide to where key research should be directed and sets the course to engage resources during crises by future social theoreticians. Comparison of responses on multiple levels provide an uncanny insight. The capture of a population's response in the midst of a crisis compared to a post-crisis reflection shall prove to be of monumental value into human reactions facing uncertainty during and post a calamity.
I trust you have been enlightened and inspired to take action in your home and neighborhood by this presentation. You are vital to the manifestation of a dignified and respected Black people in America and globally. We cannot afford to leave one member of the Black family behind. As a people, ambiguity must be removed and replaced by an ongoing practice of equality, respect, and opportunity to help another brother or sister have a quality life experience. I am Mark Carvin Oles, inviting you to subscribe to this channel to ascertain illumination and enlightenment on the journey of the 21st century Black America Renaissance, energizing and reclaiming of people, where we provide solution-driven motivation.